everybody. Today, welcome to another edition of the Social Success Factor, where we interview some of the best business owners and salespeople to find out what they're doing with social media to get more business, land more appointments, and fill up their pipelines. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Wendy Chung. Hey, Wendy, how are you?
Hi, how's it going, Amar?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for the invite.
Awesome. Well, let's get right to it. Wendy, so just for the audience, just to let you guys know, Wendy is the owner of Culture.licious. Culture.licious is a fantastic culture-based events planning company. And if you like to try food, who doesn't, then Wendy's your gal. Please look her up. She's fantastic. Wendy, once again, thanks for being with us. So tell us about your social selling journey. And, being in the events planning business, it's a very unique business. Most people we interview, they're in telecom and technology, and this goes to show you, right, that even events planning companies can use social media to get more business. So walk us through your story, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks, Amar. So it's as a cultural cooking events company, we actually host a lot of corporate events. So one of our kind of strategies is to really try and reach out to departments such as an HR department or administrative assistants in various companies. So kind of our journey with social media and especially with LinkedIn and such a powerful tool is that because you can directly connect with certain person that's actually from that department. And depending on your connection, and if you don't have the direct connection, you can actually ask someone that's in between this connection to introduce you. So a lot of kind of our corporate prospecting, I would say, is done through just reaching out to people in those departments with different companies to see if they have any needs for Christmas parties, retirement parties. And oftentimes they're interested in terms of what we do. So it's really to kind of start that conversation with them and introduce ourselves as a cultural cooking events company that we can do team building event for them.
That's great. So walk me through your flow, Wendy. Like when you start with LinkedIn, what do you do? What's your first initial move? Your research, et cetera, et cetera. Walk me through that.
I see. So normally I would say kind of step one is really going through research, right? So I think it's a very powerful tool on LinkedIn to use it as a research tool. So step one is really kind of search, let's say, a specific company in mind. So I use the example, maybe Ricoh. So they're a photocopying company. And I know that they probably may have some needs for team building events in the upcoming year. But I'm trying to find their HR person.
Okay.
Right? So first I may put in the word Ricoh on the search button or the search area,
Right.
and kind of see who pops up or if there's any connections there. Right. And oftentimes I probably will see, I know a friend that works in their IT department, which has nothing to do with HR or any kind of event hosting type of decision making. But I know that there is this person that I can reach out to. But thanks to this person, I have second degrees of connection with other people in his firm who he's connected with.
Right.
And oftentimes it's probably an HR person that he knows. So therefore, I can directly reach out to this individual that's sitting in the HR department and just basically introduce myself and say, hi, my name is Wendy. I'm the founder of Culture.licious, and we do cultural cooking events company. And I was wondering if we can link in to just kind of understand what your department's need is for future parties. So oftentimes, I would say probably at least 3-4 times out of the 10, people are very warm and they're interested in terms of what we do. So they will be connecting with us directly. And then you go on to the next step. So that being said, LinkedIn is not the only prospecting tool, I would say.
Right.
Then you kind of get into the deeper relationship, which is let's pick up a phone, maybe have a phone chat, or meet in person. So that's kind of the process. And then eventually you identify an opportunity that, hey, there is a team building event for a specific department that's coming up. during March. So, hey, we have cultural cooking events for you guys to come together and do it.
Right.
So it's really to identify those opportunities through using LinkedIn as a tool.
So what I really like about what you're doing, Wendy, is that you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. And if you look at the offline world
Mm-hmm.
of, hey, I know John at company X. Let me ask John if he can get me an interview there if I'm looking for a job, or let me ask John if he can get me an introduction to someone else. Those concepts are so well known in the offline world, but people have a hard time almost emulating them in the online world, and that's exactly what you're doing. It's brilliant, actually.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of the online and especially kind of social media is that now you can, instead of just meeting John and through John's connection, you're really reaching out to many people, and you have
Right.
the capability of reaching out to many people, which is great because, as someone is trying to develop their business, that's exactly what you need. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic tool, and
Now,
definitely use it.
here's the next part of the question that I have for you. So
Mhm.
you're doing great research. You're finding the right connections. You're using your existing network, which is
Mhm.
wonderful because the more and more you use your existing network, and the more it grows, the more people you have access to, right?
Mhm.
Obviously. Um, so that part's awesome. Now, you mentioned a stat. I want to revisit that. You said out of 3 or 4 out of 10 people are accepting your invitations, and how many people are actually taking appointments with you? How many people are saying, "Yeah, I'd love to have a phone meeting with you"?
I guess my experience has been somewhat great. So
Okay.
normally we can at least get some engagement, out of those, let's say 4 or 5 people that actually responded. Generally, if you're inviting the person out for coffee or having a phone conversation and give them a specific time frame to respect their time, I can probably at least have a chat or another form of engagement about at least 2 out of the 4.
Wow. So you're hitting a 50% threshold, hit rate rather, on at least getting a further conversation started.
Right. So it's and the whole aim with this is not to do a very hard sale. It's really to introduce yourself and introduce what service you do provide.
Absolutely.
And right, and oftentimes, that doesn't scare away people, and it shouldn't scare away people because really it's just to the hope for any business is just to say, hey, think about us when you do need the service
Yeah, absolutely.
and be there when they do need the service. So it's really that. So it's really trying to establish that relationship.
So,
So
no, sorry, go ahead. I interrupted.
oh no, so that's exactly it. So I mean, so in the past, in terms of how we position it, people generally are pretty open to just learning more about us.
which is
So
which is a great sign, right, Wendy? And
yeah.
I guess the next ultimate question is, have you landed business from these appointments, from these social selling endeavors, if you will?
Yeah, and definitely. So one of the good examples was actually with Samsung in last year in 2013. That was exactly kind of the way that we've approached it was we recognized there may be some opportunities in a large organization such as Samsung, and we had connections within Samsung, and through that I tried to reach out to the HR person on the other end, and they were throwing a team building event for the HR department, and they want to do something fun and relating with food, and there we were. We hosted an event for them.
That's
Right.
awesome.
So kind of by just doing that and kind of just presenting contacts through LinkedIn and say, hey, this is what we do, and if you guys do have any upcoming events, potentially this is something you can consider, and it's a lot of fun to do. And so that's kind of a good example of we kind of close the deal on that event. So it's great, and we met lots of really nice people in Samsung HR department.
Yeah, and obviously the potential of future business is always there with them now as a result.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
yeah,
yeah,
you've got a nice account as a result, right? So,
right.
um, Wendy, really, I think your stories resonates with me a lot because I think often what happens is that people hear this word social selling and they freak out, right? Because most salespeople, most business owners are salespeople, frankly, right? So
Hmm.
most salespeople are so afraid of just trying something different. They're so accustomed to just picking up the phone and dialing for dollars, if you will. And I think they forget that social media is there not to replace cold calling. It's not there to replace any of their other marketing efforts. It's just there to supplement an existing selling activity, right? And if it opens up a door faster, which in your case is fantastic,
Hmm.
then why wouldn't you try it? So I guess my last question to you is: do you have any words of encouragement for other small business owners, other salespeople on using social media?
Um, yeah, definitely. I think especially with exactly like you said, it's really using social media as a conversation starter.
Right.
And it is not to try and push down some sort of product or service. It's to try and identify where that opportunity may be, right? So, and I think it's a really powerful tool. I think sometimes we are tied into the jargons and those things, and it's really at the end of the day, like you said, it's just another method of reaching out to people. So if you have that tool and it's basically free, why not use it?
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, I would encourage any person that's thinking of business development, use it wisely, use it, respect other people's time and efforts. So just have a conversation with them. And people are very warm to, most people are very warm to that, when they know that you just kind of want to share some information with them. So yeah, so I definitely encourage any person to use that for their business development.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's it for us, Wendy. I hope that in the future you can join us for another edition of the Social Success Factor, and we look forward to seeing many, many great things from you. So, thanks again for your time, and we hope to connect soon.
Thanks, Alma. Have a great one.
All right, take care. Bye now.
Bye.